Uh, talk about that in the first slide, where we have different badges. I don't know if we have. I'll speak more about that, but we have here to and give you all the support but also the local organizations about that everywhere as well. We have access to the website as well. So if there's anything that you need, for example, there's a code of conduct that you need to access. Most of the materials are already on the website, which is easy to access. There's a Telegram group. I think Geoffrey can add more about that. The later stage, but there's an info desk, is how I mentioned. One thing that I wanted to confirm is for people to submit their slides to Ammonia. Can you raise your hand so that they know? So for anyone that has a presentation today, tomorrow, or Sunday, please make sure that you either see him and give him your presentation, or otherwise you can use the to just send it. Next slide. And I hope you guys can. So we have the yellow badging is the volunteers. So you can ask questions, but I understand that volunteers may not have all the answers. So in case that happens, there's a green tag, like what how it's varying, and these are organizers. So you can always reach out to the organizers, and they comprise of local organizing team and organizers that have been supporting the team. Most of you guys will have the blue ones, which are participants, and also sponsors as well. Right, I expected you to wear your sponsor tag, but it has it is I don't know which color is this. I'm colorblind, like dark green, I'd say. Maybe you are colorblind as well. That's strange. But yeah, so these are the different badges that we're wearing. But always feel free to reach out to the local team members because they're always around and supporting. Next slide again. And here is for people that do not have access to the internet. So we wanted to make sure that the internet connection is possible. So that's why the internet is possible. So we have 4 routers. There is SotM Africa or SotM Africa 1, the SotM Africa 2, up to 4. And then the password I think you guys can get it to SotM, SotM underscore 1026 exclamation mark. You can always get connected on your phone, and you want to see engagement online. You want to see you guys get connected. For those that are coming out of the country, you get connected with the family. So we start on that. And also we want to see you guys also engage in social media. You can see our hashtag SOTM Africa, so SOTM Africa. That's the hashtag that we're using. So you can always put on LinkedIn and tag the main account and use that hashtag. You can always post on Twitter and other platforms.
Me again. So we have a flag or a Africa want everyone to enjoy the conference. You is there. And also the code of conduct can be accessed on our website. You can just go on our website and it's there. And in case you feel like you need to talk to someone about that, we have Geoffrey, who is there. We have Nuru Kalulunga. She should be somewhere in here. Oh, there she is. We also have Innocent, who is here. And if all these 3 violate, yes, slide please. So the contingency plan, if you lose anything, but please keep your things safe. So we are all, we are all okay. But in case you lose anything, the info desk, or if you find something that is unattended, please pick it and take it to the info desk. We have a first aid at the OMDTZ booth outside. And also we, in case of health emergency, we have university, which is located here at the campus. But any of this one. But yeah. Next. Yeah, and shout out to our sponsors who made this. We have humanitarian OpenStreetMap team. Open Map Development Tanzania. We have TomTom, who sadly couldn't make it today. We have Heidelberg Geospatial in something. I'm sorry, please don't withdraw your money, please. I'm sure I know the name, but maybe it's the name. Don't withdraw this sponsorship. We have GeoSTEM. We also have the University of Dar es Salaam, who also gave us almost a 50% discount on the venue. Yeah. We also have GOTE. Eric should be here somewhere. So thank you so much for making this conference possible. Okay, and make friends, connect, support one another, ask, and just conference. Okay. Next, we now have our keynotes. Next slide, please. We have two keynote speakers today who are already here with us. Can I kindly ask you to please take the stage, Dr. William and David.
I kept your name under my tongue, like a song I never sung.
So because we are hosted by the University of Dar es Salaam, and that is Dr. He'll be the first one to come up. And Dr. William is a senior lecturer at the Department of Geography with over 20 years of experience in teaching, research, applied GIS, and also open mapping technologies to support conservation, resource management, and evidence-based decision. He has also led and collaborated with different universities in geospatial education, capacity building across Tanzania and beyond. And his research is more focused on, conservation, healthcare access, ability, geospatial education, and it has also made a significant contribution. He also teaches at the University of Dar es Salaam. He's also my teacher and colleague, so a dynamic in there. Dr. William, please take the stage.
This is one of the most interesting kind of conference. Initially, I thought it was going to be highly formal, but it looks like it's not going to be highly formal. So I also follow suit. Distinguished guests, members of the OpenStreetMap community, colleagues from academia, development partners, sponsors, students, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before I start my speech, may I request you to raise for just 20 seconds in honor of my friend, my student, and a highly dedicated member of the OpenStreetMap community, the late Mr. Idi Chazua. So for 20 seconds, let's remember him. May he so rest in eternal peace. On behalf of the Department of Geography at the University of Dar es Salaam, I'm honored to welcome you to the State of Map Africa 2026 conference. It's a privilege for our department, the Department of Geography, and the University of Dar es Salaam as a whole, to partner in organizing and hosting this important gathering of mappers, researchers, innovators, humanitarian actors, students, geospatial professionals from across Africa, Europe, Asia, and elsewhere. We are really proud to have you here. State of the Map Africa is more than a conference. It's a celebration of collaboration, shared knowledge, and the power of communities working together to create and use open geographic information for the public good. This conference serves as a platform for strengthening the OpenStreetMap movement across the continent and advancing the role of open mapping, open data, and GIS in addressing societal challenges. I would like to warmly welcome all participants to Dar es Salaam, and in particular at the University of Dar es Salaam. So feel free to enjoy yourself. You should feel at home. And I believe you have already started feeling that. We hope that during your time here, you will not only learn and share experiences, but also build new partnerships, friendships, and collaboration that will continue long after this conference concludes. Today, I would like to reflect on a topic that's very close to my heart, and that is OpenStreetMap academia and the next generation of African mappers. The power of open mapping. When OpenStreetMap was launched in 2000, you could have imagined if the OpenStreetMap is one of the most important sources of geospatial information globally. Governments use it, humanitarian organizations rely on it during disasters, researchers use it, analyze it, and businesses are built on top of it. Communities use it to make themselves invisible. Yet, perhaps the most remarkable aspect of OpenStreetMap is not the technology, it's the people, you and I. OpenStreetMap represents a different way of producing knowledge. It demonstrates the ordinary citizens, students, volunteers, and communities can collectively create high-quality geographic information
that benefits everyone. For Africa, this idea is particularly powerful. For many years, parts of our continent, Africa, were underrepresented in global spatial data sets. Roads were missing, buildings were absent, entire communities sometimes were absent, just a blank canvas, a distressing account. OpenStreetMap changed that narrative. Through local knowledge, community participation, and collective effort, African mappers have contributed millions of edits that have improved the representation of our communities and homes, urban planning, health interventions, environmental management, and sustainable development. I understand it's not all. More still have to be done. But why academia matters? As an academic myself, I think of who is going to be the next mapper in Africa. And the University of Dar es Salaam and higher learning institutions have that responsibility. Higher learning institutions play a critical role in developing technical skills, critical thinking, research capacity, and innovation. Traditionally, just partial education focused activity systems, static datasets, and classroom exercises. While these approaches remain valuable, the world is changing rapidly, and we have to keep up with it. Today's students need exposure to real-world data, collaborative platforms, open technologies, and practical problem-solving skills and experiences. This is where OpenStreetMap becomes transformative. OpenStreetMap is not merely a map. It's a living laboratory. Students contribute to data collection, quality assurance, spatial analysis, humanitarian mapping, and research while simultaneously developing practical skills that are highly relevant in the highly competitive. In many respects, OpenStreetMap bridges the gap between theory and practice. Students move beyond learning about GIS and are actually using GIS to solve real problems. The experience at the University of Dar es Salaam is unique. At the Department of Geography, we have witnessed this approach firsthand. We interact with the students day in, day out. Through collaboration with international universities, development partners, and local organizations, we have increasingly integrated into teaching, research, and community engagement. What is important in the resilience? These partnerships have created opportunities for students directly with open source, GIS, open mapping, field data collection, and community-based geospatial projects. Many of our undergraduates can speak map during industrial training, internships, research, academic year. They learn a lot, not only technical skills, as we probably, but also values that actually underpin the open mapping movement, which are collaboration, knowledge sharing, community service, inclusion, and innovation. The government is minister name a few. Other business. Some have become research. And it's the human the but mention youth as future market. Africa is opportunity and trajectory. The future of Africa will not be determined by technology alone. It will be determined by whether we empower young people to map their communities, tell their own stories through data, and contribute to global knowledge. Students are not merely future contributors. They are contributors now and today. Across Africa, university students are organizing mapathons, leading local chapters, supporting humanitarian mapping initiatives, conducting research, and developing innovative applications using spatial data. Their energy, creativity, willingness, and experiment are essential assets for the growth of our movement. However, meaningful youth engagement requires more than inviting students to events. It requires creating pathways for participation. And therefore, we must strengthen the following: university mapping chapters, mentorship programs, internships, student-led innovation initiatives, and we must ensure that young people see a future for themselves within geospatial ecosystem. In today's conference, we mentioned communities and mapping. Connecting communities through collaboration is essential. And the theme of our today's conference is mapping the future, connecting communities and fostering collaborations. I believe this theme captures the essence of what makes OpenStreetMap unique. Yes, maps are important, data are important, technology are important, but communities are what truly matter. The greatest achievement of OpenStreetMap have never been technical achievements alone. There have been collaborative achievements, event, shared the commitment to meet. So, and map Africa. Nothing can solve Africa's challenges by itself. We build the necessary across area. The future of now. I have also been informed that there will be the memory of our lady Edith Chazua, who sadly passed away last year in August. It's both fitting and frightening that these gathering festivals. This reflects what I have on to open to people are at the heart. Beyond the maps, data, and technology, treatment, and spirit in community. That truly actually matter. Map is OpenStreetMap at its core is a community. So as I wind up, I would like to thank the organizers, sponsors, volunteers, presenters, partners, and participants who have made this conference possible. Thank you, Director. May this conference have new ideas, strengthen existing partnerships together. Let's do the mapping places, but possible. Let's connect, communicate, and foster together. Let's make the future we can. Thank you so much, and I wish you and this state of the map artifacts.
Another round of applause, please. Thank you much, an inspiring keynote. And I don't want to add anything to that because my teacher said, and that is it. Now, next up, our second key, David Luswat, who is a project manager at Kobo, the partner engagement. His work encompasses supporting organizations and other users to leverage data processes as the pressing challenges in our humanitarian data collection. And David has supported the organizations and his data usage across sectors. Over the last decade, David has helped start and grow Africa. Through his work, also build partnerships and led trainings and implemented programs across Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean. It was one of the key people when we were scaling up our Romani urea protein, where he helped train over 600 students in open geospatial mapping here in Dar es
Thank you very much, Marwan. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Habari za asubuhi. I'm very this well, it's a time I'm in and to so many familiars. I wrote down something that I'd like to share with you. Thank inspiring words. City Dr. Christopher, our conference hosts, the University of Dallas, the local organizing committee, and all other committees that open Map Development Tanzania, mappers and map contributors, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to begin by thanking the administration and leadership of the University of Dar es Salaam for providing an enabling environment to have this conference and to make it happen at your prestigious campus. Thank you for your scholarly leadership region. I also want to thank especially Tanzania, led by Maholi. Thank you for your tireless efforts in organizing and bringing us all to this wonderful conference. We are here to share knowledge, we are here and to find solutions to the problems and challenges that are facing our continent. I must also thank the wider OSM Africa community. Thank you for convening this bigger conference. Thank you for keeping the dream of mapping the entire continent alive, and for your content and energizing efforts around across the year to have mapping campaigns and events go on. I want to recognize this year's sponsors particularly, as we've mentioned. We want to appreciate all the sponsors. Thank you very much for your contributions and your partnership in mapping this continent that's so dear to all of us. As we gather today, I want to take a moment, as has also been recognized by Dr. Christopher, to remember one of the great sons of the nation of Tanzania, who I knew personally and whose work touched everyone that came in contact with him. He was very dear to the OMTZ family. He was very dear to HOT and to the wider OSM Africa community. I first met him over 10 years ago. And what I saw, I welcomed young mappers. I therefore am so it is Tanzania, the OMDT team, as well as HOT, for instituting the Idi Chazua Memorial Fellowship. His passion and his passion will live on, and at this point, I do want to recognize we have about 12 fellows that are attending this conference as part of this very fellowship and memorial friend. So if you're here as part of that fellowship, maybe you can raise up your hand, or you can, wonderful, so many of you in the room. Congratulations, welcome, and let's carry on Idi's legacy. Starting back in Kampala, Uganda in 2017, then to Grand Bassam in Ivory Coast in 2019, Nairobi, Kenya in 2021, which later went online, to Yaoundé in Cameroon 2023. This year's conference, the State of the Map Africa Conference, is the 50th official conference organized by which was, let us gather, share what. I'm therefore very excited to see all the progress we are making through this conference. I also want to invite you and your come today and over the next 3 days to begin passionately planning and thinking about hosting us as in a few months. This year's thesis and fostering collaboration is particularly relevant to the times in which we live. From the conflict in Sudan or security challenges in northern Nigeria to flight out to drought and food insecurity to the Ebola outbreak. In solutions are anchored in accessible. As a mapper, that one edge, the road you connect, the boundary you fix on the map, all of this in addressing the challenges facing our continent. In the morning and online, you next to someone who has mapped flood-prone villages in Nigeria. There is someone behind you who has traced roads through the example, so that helps people find their way to remote villages. Somewhere in this hall, we have a student who has just started and they just made their contributions either earlier this year or just recently. All of these efforts have made it possible that important interventions are made across the continent. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is the impact we are creating. What do we know about the most vulnerable communities? What is available and accessible to implement an effective intervention? Where are the affected communities? And many other questions. These are the key questions that humanitarians ask. But it's not only humanitarians, development practitioners, government officials, and government programs and data. Distinguished delegates, we are mappers, we are data practitioners, we are academicians, we are policy makers, we are humanitarians here in the room and online. As we gather here in Dar es Salaam, over these, let us ask questions we map. Let us reflect on why and how our work matters, who it serves, and most importantly, where we go from here. What encourages us all is that the progress, and it is significant. Africa's OpenStreetMap data has over the years, and mapping campaigns have covered disaster-prone areas with extraordinary speed. Universities across the continent are training the next generation of leaders and special professionals. National mapping in several African countries, and I do speak to quite a number of them, are big with open mapping communities right with them. National statistical systems are embracing open data and open data tools. That is progress worth celebrating. There is a profound gap we must act over the next 3 days. And as we our cities and nations, that gap is data use at the low. Data use at the lowest. Some time back in Kampala, I visited a health center 3 to check on a friend. And then I also needed a clearance letter from a police station at my village for an event that I was organizing. Recommendation letter from my LOC1, that is the village leadership, for a SIM card that I was registering. What struck me in all of these 3 places, the health center 3, the police station, and the village chairperson's office, was the presence of a human hand-drawn map. It was sketched by someone and it was printed. That's what I saw in all these three places. I don't know if in the room there are some of you who have seen this. Have you seen in your own communities some of these kinds of maps? I have seen these across the continent. Distinguished delegates, we still have work to do. Now is the time to be honest, because this conference is called the State of the Map. It is important that we are clear-eyed and progress that we have made. When you sit next to the mapper across the chair or next to you, and when you go back and visit your health facility in your community, or go to your local authority's office, look out for data needs. Look out for solutions that you can provide. Spot the gap and do something about it. At this year's conference, we are discussing and looking at connecting communities and fostering collaboration. As you move from session to session, take some time to think about what this really means. We need our OSM communities and data ecosystems more connected. However, the communities I want to emphasize and see more connected are not just communities of mappers or our international NGO networks. I want to see local governments connected so that the data we create is used in budgeting decisions, in urban planning, in disaster risk reduction, and in informing our food systems as well as farmers. I want to see secondary schools and universities connected so that the next generation understanding that they have tools and improve their own environment and societies. I want to see women and girls, because our continent, women are far and by far and lately in small numbers in our own mapping communities, despite often having the deepest knowledge in our communities and also. So connecting communities means doing the hard work. Relational, slow work of groups. It cannot be quickened with a hackathon or a mapathon alone. There have to be engagements and conversation in the corridors of power and in forums that change our today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, capitalizing on the tremendous progress of our past couple of years and activities as well as initiatives, we must look towards the future. We must map for tomorrow. Let us map the future. This is big as doors. We must collaborate. We must break silos. In the African open mapping ecosystem, we have partners from many sectors, UN agencies, multilateral agencies, technology companies, some of which are sponsors of our conference this day, civil society organizations, academic institutions, national governments, as well as local governments. Each of these actors brings their own resources as well as their own challenges. It is great that we have tools that enable massive primary data collection, tools like Kobo Toolbox, Organic Maps, among others, that offer their platforms and tools so that we can collect and contribute to the map really. I want to use this platform this morning to invite more actors to enable data creation across the continent. It's great what the World Bank has done here in the city of Dar es Salaam. supporting massive mapping campaigns and local community efforts. I want to invite regional blocks as well. I want to invite SADC. I want to invite IGAD, the East African Community, ECOWAS, the African Union, among others, as well as other development partners such as Enabel, GIZ, JICA, and many others. When you partner and design programs that can fund OSM communities and other data campaigns, you are contributing directly to the creation engine. This data creation engine eventually powers your interventions and government programs as well as service delivery across the continent. We need to build communities of mappers and mapping programs that outlast single project cycles or programs, that enable OSM communities and local units to use data collect tools that have all. This is ambitious. It is also entirely achievable. We have seen examples of this in several OSM communities here in Tanzania, for example, collaboration between OMDTZ and the city administration, as well as other in Uganda, seeing good progress. In Cameroon, we are seeing good progress. In Rwanda, we are seeing good progress. So this is possible. As we come into this conference over the next 3 days, I do want to speak specifically to the young professionals, the students who are joining us here today. Some of you have just started mapping. You are joining an important movement. You are joining a group of professionals that have continued to change the shape of the data landscape. You are coming into this work at a remarkable moment. The tools are better than they were many years back. The global community is larger than it has ever been. The recognition that open geospatial data is critical and important to national development is even better now. But you also have some challenges that you're going to face. Funding is far more uncertain these days. The institutional landscape is a bit complicated. And there are questions about sustainability, about equity, about data governance that have not yet been resolved. And as you're working in a world that is changing fast with climate shocks, we have seen news of the upcoming super El Nino, with urban growth mobility, creating both urgent demand for what you can do and significant obstacles to how you do it. As we go into different sessions from today through the next 3 days, I want to propose one commitment to all of us in the room and online. A commitment that you can carry into every session, a commitment that you can carry into side conversations, a commitment that you can use, forge collaborations amongst your peers and colleagues in these next 3 days and beyond. That commitment is, can we use your skills? Can you use your skills and your abilities to create map and data products that your local community can use? If we can commit to that as a whole and as a community of mappers, that the tools we create can be used by our local communities, we are going to begin to see change at the lowest level. In closing, distinguished delegates, the future we want to map is not a future somewhere else. It is not the future of communities where, it is the future of the communities where we live and work. It is the future of children, our children, who will grow up in cities that work better because they were mapped well. It is the future of farmers who will be reached by services that they couldn't reach because they couldn't before. It is the future of planners who will make better decisions because they can see the full picture of all communities, including the future. It is what the late nights. It is what the data quality and validation minutes and sessions that we hold. And it is also what applicable right. It is what all of our effort. Let us get to work. Let us begin to map the future. Thank you very much for your attention, and also thank you very much for all your contributions on the map across the continent. Thank you very much.
David, please another round of applause that we move to his seat. Thank you so much for the just very wonderful keynotes. And it has set the note, in the tone for our conference. The key things that I captured there is we need to connect our communities. You are our future, of OpenStreetMap, because we need to see a way of mentoring and making sure they are involved in decision making. And we cannot do this alone. And that's why we need to foster collaboration. As our theme says. Now let's go and offer, include our keynote. Let us applause as they leave the stage. Thank you so much. Because taking their seats, it's as I've said every night, or as you move outside, to your right. And after the tea break, then you have our break. One will be here at the main second floor, the Kilimanjaro room. So please, let's head out to the tea area. Thank you.
TMZ, the producer.
I forgot one important, please bear with me. We have our group photo right before tea break. So we are going for our photo and into the tea. Please, volunteers, please lead the way outside to the photo area.